Hello, kiddies. It's your old pal, the Crypt Keeper. And you're listening to Three Guys in a Flick. The good, the bad, and the gruesomely absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
As soon as she lets it in, it cannot go for more than 90 seconds. Am I clear?
What happens after 90 seconds?
They'll want to stay.
Three guys and a flick with Don, Ken, and John. Dive into the movies well after the dawn. From the good to the bad to the wildly absurd. They give a fuck about films. Their voices are heard.
Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys in a Flick. This is where we review the good, the bad, and the absurd. Tonight's episode, Talk to Me. Beware spoilers. Coming to you from outside of a creepy party. Hey, could somebody let me in? My name is Don. And to my right, we have the comic book guy, John.
Good day, mate.
Oh, good day, mate. And to my left, we have the professor, Ken.
Hello, everybody.
And joining us tonight, we have a very special guest. Everybody say hi to Elise.
Hi, Elise. Hi, Elise.
Hello.
Tonight, we are talking about Talk to Me. Talk to Me comes to us via one Elise. She wanted us to review this movie, and then she said, hey, I'm going to come on the podcast too. And I said, oh, fuck. And then it all happened.
No, you're lying because I said I wanted to be on the podcast, and then you were like, well, okay.
Oh, okay.
You got all excited, and you were like, well, okay.
Well, this movie works because this is, we're getting closer to Halloween, and this is kind of a horror-themed movie.
I would definitely classify this as a horror movie. So, Elise, why Talk to Me?
Because, in my opinion, Talk to Me is one of the best horror movies that have come out recently because everything is just a remake. Oh, where it's stupid. I didn't like Longlegs. I thought Longlegs was stupid.
Well, now we know how she felt about Longlegs.
I thought Longlegs was stupid. I thought Evil Dead Rise had just, it was too much gore.
There is never too much gore.
Well, that's debatable. But I thought it was interesting because it was, the first horror movie in a while that had, an original concept. And, it wasn't, the same story over and over. The really, really biggest, stupid horror movie to ever come out in 2023 and 2024 was Thanksgiving with Patrick Dempsey. Don't watch it. It's awful.
It sounds like a Thanksgiving-themed movie.
Well, it's a Thanksgiving horror movie where the killer is like, I'm going to kill you on Thanksgiving.
Remember Grindhouse?
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino? Thanksgiving was one of the previews. Eli Roth did it. And young lady, I want to see Thanksgiving. So there you go.
It was on Netflix. I watched it. It was bad.
I'm sure it wasn't great, but it was probably fun.
Any movie that has Addison Rae in it shouldn't be made.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Had you, Professor, seen Talk to Me before?
No, sir.
What about you, comic book guy? Had you seen Talk to Me?
I had not seen Talk to Me. I hadn't even heard of A24 Studio.
What?
I did.
What?
I have not seen any of their movies.
Yes, you have.
Which movie have I seen?
Tusk.
Was that one of theirs?
Yes, it was.
Kevin Smith did it through them?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah. A24, we might as well just talk about it now.
I love A24.
They are a powerhouse production company.
So A24 is a alternative to Hollywood making movies that allows other stories to be told.
Well, that's one thing I really liked about this. And from what I've read, they make a lot of movies that have that independent feel. And that's what I really liked about this. This felt low budget, independent, but still fun and realistic.
Yeah. Agreed. Some of the big titles coming out of A24, Everything All at Once, Everywhere.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah, that one.
Priscilla.
Best picture.
It's their highest grossing.
So I have seen a few of their movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hereditary. Midsommar.
Mm-hmm.
The Iron Claw.
Mm-hmm. So this is their third highest grossing movie. The second highest grossing movie was Civil War, which came out this year.
Did you guys see that?
No. The wife, she saw it, and she's like,
It's depressing.
Yeah. Depressing.
So-
And then the fourth highest was Hereditary, and then the fifth highest grossing for A24 is Lady Bird.
Oh, I love Lady Bird. Don't even get me started on Lady Bird.
Oh, we won't.
I love Saoirse Ronan. She's such a good actress. And, oh my God.
Released on October 30th, 2022, Talk to Me was directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, written by Danny Philippou and Bill Heinzman, based on a concept by Daley Pearson, and it stars Sophie Wilde, Alexandra Jensen, Joe Bird, Miranda Otto, Marcus Johnson, and a bunch of other partygoers.
How'd this movie do, Don?
This movie was made for a mere $4.5 million and brought in $92 million. So not too bad.
I do know when it came out, I know, Ken, you listed off where it ranked in all their movies, but when it came out, it was their number one grossing movie.
Yeah, before Everything All at Once overtook it. And it wasn't released in the States until 2023, I believe.
Correct.
Because it wasn't, people didn't think it was going to be popular. At least they didn't think it was going to be that popular, so they didn't release it in the States. They only released it in Australia and like Europe. And then it blew up and it was blowing up on like TikTok. And so people were like, oh, we have to release it. And they released it during the summer of 2023.
In July.
Yeah. Elise, you saw this in the theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like?
I personally thought it was better in theaters than it was on the small screen, just because when you're in the theater and it's dark, it's so much creepier. But also the entire time I was watching it, Brian was in my ear. I hate you. You're not picking another movie, because he hates horror movies. But then right after we saw it, so we saw it for $3 at Regal, but it took us 2 times to see it, because the first time we went to see it, it was rated R and I didn't have my license and the lady wouldn't let me in. I had my COVID vaccine card that had that I was 17 and I could purchase a movie for this ticket. They wouldn't let me in. So it was so stressful to even get to the movie, because we bought tickets online and then they wouldn't let us in and we got kicked out of Regal.
Huh. Well, that sounds like an interesting theater experience.
And then after, as we're walking out of the movie, it was the most disorienting experience of my life, because we're walking out of the movie and then somebody comes up and grabs me from behind, and it was somebody that I knew, but somebody grabbed me from behind and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to die. And I actually screamed. It was horrifying.
Did you say talk to me?
No.
Oh.
Let me in?
Let me in?
No.
No.
You get grabbed by someone. Oh.
So this movie is Australian made, and so I, for one, don't know of anything that these directors have done. And outside of Miranda Otto, I don't really know the cast. And so going into a movie like this, I really appreciate that, because it gives me a chance to get introduced to these characters that I'm not familiar with, especially like the actors, right?
Yeah, I guess the brother directors, I guess they're big YouTubers. Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of their stuff, but I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
From what I've read, this was their directorial debut.
Yeah.
It was a crazy thing to debut with. Imagine making your first movie and it blows up and you make $1 bajillion.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the dream, right? Did you guys recognize Miranda Otto, the one who plays Jade's mom?
No.
She looked and sounded familiar, but I don't know what I know her
Oh
from.
my God. You are letting me down left and right there, comic book guy.
Is she's not from Nightmare on Elm Street. What is she from?
Lord of the Rings.
Was she Galadriel?
No. Galadriel?
Oh, was she?
That was fucking Kate Blanchett. Did she look like Kate Blanchett to you?
No.
Arwen. The one that loves Aragorn, but he doesn't love her back.
Wait,
The
but
Rohirrim.
you're being so mean to Mr. Cernoff and you don't even know how to say the character's name.
That's not Arwen. Arwen was Liv Tyler.
Okay, the other Arwen. There's 2 of
Arwen.
them that names sound the
Arwen.
same. Yeah. So yeah, that's what she's from. She's also from War of the Worlds. She's been in a lot of bit pieces, and she's probably the most recognizable face in this film.
So there's a famous person you're saying in Australia.
Oh, there's a couple.
Okay.
Well,
Look at
she
Mel
was
Gibson.
She was the famous for now, but the main girl has she's been cast in a lot after this. 'Cause
Yeah, and
really like
they've
her.
been doing shows on Netflix and
Yeah.
things like that, right? Yeah. What'd you guys think of the cast?
I thought Sophie Wilde, who I think this was her first big break, did a great job. I liked her in this movie. And the kid Riley even did fantastic.
I didn't know these actors from anywhere, and I thought that they were all fine.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the score?
I didn't hear very much of it.
It was kind of a quiet thing.
It was very quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, there's music playing, and it's so subtle.
Yeah. And it when it does come in, it really kind of builds the dread or the tension that's going on.
As it should.
Yeah. And I noticed in a lot of bits, we would get kind of a heavenly, ethereal type tune and then immediately go to ominous because the spirit was around or things like that.
What I loved was the needle drop, having Sia's chandelier in it.
Yeah.
I've always loved Sia's music. So the fact that they were able to get that song, I know they were trying for a different song at first and they couldn't get approval on it because Sia is from that hometown where this movie was filmed and is supposed to be set, she gave them like 70% off on normal rates for her song.
Wow, that's pretty good. I was going to say a lot of that 4.5 million probably went to that tune. But so this movie, though I thought original in some aspects, falls under what I would consider a possession movie. And now that it's Halloween, it makes me think of all of these different possession films that are out there. Do you guys have a favorite possession movie?
That's a tough one.
Can I say a joke film?
Sure.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2. He gets possessed by Freddy.
That does count. He
Well,
does get possessed.
No, really, in that movie, Freddy just comes out of the character.
But he gets possessed before he comes out of the character.
But he definitely comes out.
Yeah, I know, but Jesse still gets possessed.
Yeah, and then Freddy comes out.
I feel like we're going in circles here. What about you there, guy?
What was that movie with Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin?
All of Me.
Yes.
Yeah?
I haven't seen that in ages.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think The Exorcist is a good possession one.
For me, the first one that pops in my head, and I know there's others that I probably like more, but The Conjuring. There's some possession in those movies.
I wasn't a big fan of The Conjuring.
I kind of like those reality-based kind of horror movies.
You ever see The Conjuring?
No.
No? Well, there you go. Have you seen The Conjuring?
Bits and pieces from when Logan went through his, I need to watch all the scary horror movie. But I don't like possession movies very much.
No?
They make you uncomfortable inside?
No, I just think that they're the same thing over and over, and I kind of find them boring. I don't know. I'm like, when it comes to horror movies, I really, really like slashers.
But this doesn't fall under slasher.
I know. And that's why it was weird that I didn't think I was going to like it that much because it was a possession movie. And that's why, I don't know. But it like really surpassed what I thought it was going to be.
What did you think of Hereditary?
Have you seen it?
Uh-huh. I really like Hereditary. It's scary.
Yeah?
I really like the main guy. I can't think of what his name is. What's his name?
Gabriel Byrne?
Alex Wolff. I really like that guy. I like the way he acts.
Huh.
Also, I knew what happened in Hereditary with the girl in her head because Keenan made a joke about it to me one time, and then it like wasn't like that moment wasn't as scary as I thought it would be because I already knew what happened, and that's 110% Keenan's fault. And so now I don't watch anything he tells me to watch because he always tells me what happens.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
One of the things that the director writers, they were turned down by a lot of studios specifically because the movie was very vague. And some of the studios that were ready to kind of buy the script wanted them to fill in the blanks, but they wanted to stick with the movie being vague. What did you think of the vagueness of the movie?
I think that's what makes it original. I think that for me, not knowing exactly where the hand comes or exactly what the people are seeing, the filmmakers are asking us to buy it with just minimal information. And the cast does a great job of selling it. And so for me, I think the vagueness works absolutely. I think if you put in too much backstory, A, it makes it too long, and B, like Elise said, they all just turn into another possession story.
Well,
So
my thing with horror movies too is like if you add it, there's too much specifics for one thing that's supposed to be really scary, then it's not scary anymore. Like that's why I like slasher so much is because they're not targeting one person or they're not targeting one type of people. They're killing everyone.
yeah,
And
they
like,
don't care.
I think that's why Talk to Me works really well too, is because like, yes, you have to hold the hand. Yes, you have to like say, I let you in. But because of peer pressure and like the party scene, and I feel like all of that really works, especially for like teenagers, and it being so vague, it leaves you wondering. And like my dad says, like, you're going to make it worse in your head. So because we don't know what everyone's seeing, we don't know where it comes from. Like, I think that you're making it more scary in your head than it could be. Like, if they're just telling you it's from Peru. Like, okay, you can put it back in Peru.
Your dad says that?
Yeah, you are him.
He's a smart motherfucker, that guy.
Is he? Is it about that time, Dad?
Well, yes, y'all. It is about that time. Welcome to another edition of Master Movie Trivia. I am your reigning champ. You may call me the champ. I have compiled 5 questions and 5 questions only to test your knowledge of the movie we are reviewing. Each question could be worth multiple points, so if you know the answer, say it. And please wait until I finish each question. Question number 1. During the ritual, what must you do in order to close the door?
Blow
Oh,
out a candle.
Wait, is this you just say it, or do you have to raise your hand?
Did you listen to the rules?
No.
Okay, well then that's your fault.
You're wearing a headset.
So that is going to be a tie. And for you, you can just say it. You don't have to, but you have to wait until I'm done saying the question. Question number 2. How long do you hold on to the hand while communicating with the dead?
90 seconds.
Dang it!
Bonus question. What happens after 90 seconds?
They
They
want to stay.
take hold. They want to stay.
No, they want to stay. Is that they want to stay? Is the actual words in the movies they want to stay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will give that
Do I
one
get
to
that
you.
point?
Yep.
Yes. I love points.
Question number 3. How long does Mia say Riley can hold on to the hand for?
50 seconds.
Wow, look at you two. You guys really watched the fucking movie. I'm so impressed right now. Question number 4. How does Mia's dad get critically injured?
Stab
She
in the
stabs
neck
him
with
in the neck.
scissors.
Someone said scissors. Who said scissors? I'm going to give you the point. Scissors.
I hate this game.
And question number 5. Where does Mia find herself in the last frames of the movie?
Hospital.
In front of a mirror.
No,
she's
it's
on the
Greece.
receiving end of the handshake.
It's in
And the
Greece.
professor
Oh, yeah.
comes in for the win.
Specifically, it's in Greece because they're speaking Greek.
They could have been Greeks at another.
Okay. Yes,
another
you were
country.
right.
Can I get half a point, please?
You can have half a point.
Thank you.
There you go. So by my calculation,
I win.
Elise wins. Congratulations, you are one step closer to movie immortality.
What are you gonna do with all those points?
I'm going to Disneyland.
I'm gonna buy an ice cream cone. I hope my hand doesn't fall off.
Hey, coming through, bitch. That means move, bitch. That means you, bitch. Hey, watch me do this.
At a house party in Adeline, Cole searches for his brother Duckett. When he finds Duckett and attempts to bring him home, Duckett stabs Cole and kills himself. 17-year-old Mia is grappling with the second anniversary of her mother Ria's death from a sleeping pill overdose and her strained relationship with her father. Mia, along with her best friend Jade and Jade's brother Riley, sneak out to a gathering hosted by Haley and Joss, where the main attraction is a severed, embalmed hand. By holding the hand and saying, "Talk to me," a person can communicate with a spirit, and by saying, "I let you in," they allow possession. Mia volunteers, but her possession exceeds the 90-second limit, with the spirit displaying a dangerous focus on Riley. So this movie opens up and we are at a party and we see this guy running through the party from the street into the party, and we get this camera shot of the camera following him all through the party.
Have you seen Duckett? Have you seen Duckett? Have you seen Duckett?
And I'm like, who the fuck is Duckett? Right? Which somebody I think says. But what did you guys think of the tracking shot and just the whole?
It was fucking awesome.
It was, right?
Yeah, it was a 2-minute tracking shot.
And it's dark and it's lit very well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's disorientating, and the music's pounding, and you have all of these kids who are having a good time partying, but you have this one guy. He's on a mission. He needs to find Duckett. Now, at this point, I don't think we know that they're brothers.
No, right before he gets to the bedroom, the gal chopping in the kitchen, she mentions your brother.
That's right. That's right.
But one thing I like about, especially this tracking shot, is obviously Cole is searching, and it feels like we are searching with him.
What did you think of this opening shot?
At least for me, the first couple minutes of a movie, either you have to take me or I'm just not gonna watch the movie. I don't care.
Yeah, so it's all about the opening.
Yeah, and I felt like that, because the cold opening of it's just good. I just really like them. And that first couple minutes of a horror movie, especially if you're not killing someone within the first 5 minutes, I don't want to watch the movie. Like if something
You-
exciting doesn't happen, I'll
Man, you have
watch it.
quite the appetite.
You've trained her well.
Why?
That's why she'll survive any slasher attack out there.
Yeah, I've seen all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, all the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, well,
I need to watch Halloween.
That's my kid. So Cole is going through the party and he goes into the kitchen, and then we find out that Duckett is in a room, and Cole pretty much just breaks the door down.
No, he knocks on the door and he's like, let me in, and he threatens to break the door down, and the guy whose house it is like, don't break down my door.
And
then
what happens?
he breaks down the door.
Okay, so then why'd you interrupt me?
Because I'm just making a statement, as you said, he basically just breaks down the door.
He does basically break down the fucking door.
He makes an attempt to open the door.
Filming that took, I guess, 10 scenes or 10 takes and 12 doors.
Oh, I bet. I can imagine.
I just like the guy in the background saying, dude, that's my mom's door.
Totally, right? And so Cole gets in, sees his brother sitting there, and picks him up, and he's going to get him out of there.
And all the phones come out.
Because it is 2021, 2022, whatever year it is when they're making this, and everything is on your phone.
Mhm.
All the kids, you see all the flashlights. I mean, it's the way the generation is today.
Apparently, the directors got permission or paid off. I don't know. Snapchat was supposedly what everyone was using, because we get to see a couple times an actual phone screen showing Snapchat.
I don't know if they partnered with Snapchat, but Snapchat came out with a filter. And anytime you would open Snapchat, it would be like, use that new Talk to Me filter. And then it would promote the movie when it came out.
Yeah, well, there you go. And so the Duckett brothers are making their way out. And this is what we were kind of talking about for an opening. And for me, when Duckett stabs his brother and turns around and then stabs himself in the face. Do you remember what I said?
Now that's how you do a cold open.
I said, now that's an opening.
Yeah, that
So
No,
was,
I
you
liked
said
it.
no. The word "cold" came out of your mouth. That's,
I don't
that's
think
how
it
you
did.
do a cold
well,
open.
that is a good oh fuck moment.
Yeah, for sure.
What I really appreciate about that, and you don't even realize it until pretty much the end of the movie, is they just showed us the plot of the movie. That was foreshadowing everything that was going to happen, which is, him going and finding the guy and then, trying to kill somebody and then killing himself.
We are then introduced to Mia, and we find out that it is her mom's second anniversary of her death. And we are told that she accidentally overdosed on some sleeping pills. And we can tell right away that she kind of has a strained relationship with her father. And then she seeks refuge at her friend's house, Jade, her little brother Riley, and mom Sue. What did you guys think of this whole introduction of Mia as our protagonist?
I bought it. I think that Mia's character, it's established pretty firmly in these first couple of minutes of her being on screen that she is our central character that we'll be following along with.
Sure.
And I really enjoyed having when she goes to pick up Riley and they are just singing away in the car and they're just like so into it. And then all of a sudden the music stopped and then you see this stern look on their faces and we, the audience, are thinking, what are they looking at?
Because the filmmakers are holding on Mia and Riley's face for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're specifically not showing us on purpose.
Exactly.
So the emotions, we can see it. I really dug the scene as well.
I agree. I liked her. For me in the beginning, it was really confusing the transition from the Ducketts to all of a sudden just seeing her and then trying to get why is she there in the house. But they subtly kind of explain that to us and we start putting it all together. And then her relation with Riley showed almost like a younger brother type feel.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's kind of what it was, because they tell us, or they imply, that Mia has been part of this family for a long time. Her and Jade have been friends for a long time. But what Riley and Mia see, I didn't see coming, and it broke my heart a little bit, was the fucking little kangaroo.
What killed me was the sound coming from the kangaroo.
Oh, well done, sound design. And I'll just go ahead and say this now. The practical effects in this film, very well done.
The directors have specifically said they tried to use some visual effects and CGI, things like that. They didn't like the look, so they did practical as much as they could.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the kangaroo?
I didn't realize how important the kangaroo was going to be until the end of the movie.
Until the end of the movie. That's right. Smart filmmaking.
The directors have actually said the kangaroo represented even more than what happened at the end of the movie, but they won't reveal what it represented.
The kangaroo made me want to throw up.
Why?
It's so I like that. I felt so bad. That poor kangaroo that just made me like nauseous, made me gag the first time I saw it.
And so Riley's like, you got to put it out of its misery. And Mia's like, okay. And she backs up, and I'm thinking, is she going to squash his head? Are they going to fucking show this?
Yeah, it's like,
Whoa.
I thought
They don't.
I thought they would just show in the car and all of a sudden you hear a thump.
Oh, well, that probably would have been more subtle.
But could you have done it? Could you have put the kangaroo out of its misery?
I want to say yes, because that poor kangaroo was just suffering. I don't know if I could have squashed its head with a car, though. Maybe if you had a knife, you could cut its throat or
A
something.
big rock?
Or a big rock or something. And so they go home, and life goes on a little bit. And then there's this party. And I was thinking last night, there is one fundamental rule for every single horror movie ever made. Do you know what that one fundamental single rule is?
You have to have
Not
one,
you.
You have to have one black guy?
Nope, not you. Any idea?
No idea.
What?
You play dumb games, you win stupid prizes. It's not just a fundamental rule for all horror movies, which you say every time you watch a horror movie, but you told me that all through high school, and you told Logan that all through high school. You play dumb game, you win dumb prizes.
I will just say this. Every horror movie revolves around bad decisions. And that's what makes a horror movie, I've decided. So this movie is riddled with bad decisions.
Well, this is exactly why you should have your young children watch horror movies, because you teach them what happens when you make bad decisions.
All right, so let's talk about this party. All right. All of these kids get together because there's this craze going around of people getting possessed. Don't people know you fuck around with spirits, no good can come of that,
But
right?
It's like Mia says, you get that feeling afterwards, like you're glowing. It's just they get a high from it.
Okay, so Mia wants to do this, and we're kind of told a little bit about it. There's this hand.
Okay, but not even that. Because the reveal that we, the audience, are getting is we see two really quick little snippets on the phone, just a hint, and we don't even know what we're necessarily getting into. We don't know whatever this is that they know.
Right.
And so when we are there at the party and it begins, we finally get the reveal of what's going on.
Did you notice in those little tidbits of the screenshots we got, the eyes, that they were like solid black?
I thought I saw that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. And so Jade is like, this is all bullshit. This is totally edited. This is fake, right? She's a firm. This is a fake type of a deal.
Jade.
What?
I didn't like Jade.
I don't think you were meant to like Jade.
Jade just made me.
I like Jade. There was nothing wrong with Jade.
I didn't like Jade till the end.
She
of
was the
movie.
only one with a level head on her fucking shoulders. Oh, maybe let's not fuck around with spirits.
Well,
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
okay, but like they're teenagers. Come on.
Oh,
They're good.
Jesus.
No,
Hey,
that's-
I was a teenager and I knew not to fuck with spirits.
Okay, but you weren't like the whole thing, especially with like all the phones being pulled out every time that they do the hand. It's so. This sounds so stupid, but like as a teenager in the modern day, that's not out of the realm of possibility whatsoever. Like if there was something that was like, if you do this, you'll look insane, but you'll blow up on the internet, people will do it because they want to blow up on the internet.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong.
And so that's like, I feel like one of the more compelling, these teenagers felt like real teenagers, which is really, I don't know, you don't get that anymore. It just sounds like a bunch of old people trying to write what they think it sounds like.
Well, if these were real teenagers, I feel super bad for the future and I have no hope.
You shouldn't.
What do you think of the hand?
I thought it was an interesting take on an old idea. It's just another Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The fact that we haven't seen something like that in a while, if ever, I appreciated it. I liked the way it looked. I liked the writing on it. I liked what it represented.
I kind of looked closely at the writing. I think that was signatures of people who've used it in the past. It would be my guess, because it looked like a bunch of signatures all over it.
Maybe.
That's what I took it as.
Yeah.
And if you look it up, there is like A24 came out with a hand that you could buy. It was like $8 million bajillion dollars, but is signatures. And I'm pretty sure it was signed by like the people that made the movie. Not like the actual hand, but the one that you could buy were all signed by like people that made the movie.
And so they're at the party, and Mia wants to try the hand, and we are told the rules. The rules are you have to light the candle to open the door. You hold the hand. You say, talk to me. You see whatever it is you need to see. You say, let me in. They possess you. 90 seconds is the limit. And then you got to let go, blow out the candle, and close the door.
And what happens if you more than 90 seconds?
The spirits will want to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mia says, okay. What did you guys think about this whole first grabbing the hand bit?
It was shot very well, the reveal of the hand, because, you know, when we finally see, you know, the hand put on the table and the camera slowly zooms in towards it, it looks ominous. And that ominous feeling is like, okay, this is going to be a pretty freaky little ride. And the fact that she has such a disturbing experience from it, I was surprised that the character's like, oh, I want to do it again.
That's what I was saying. You fuck around with the spirits. I'm telling you, if I see that lady that she saw all grossed out and fuck that, I'm done.
That's what I was going to say is as soon as I did talk to me, because I would think that, you know, this is just fake, this is whatever. Talk to me, and that little ghost thing appeared in front of her, I would have blown out that candle immediately.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, oops.
I really liked that we don't get to see any of the other ghosts. We only see them through Mia's perspective, because like I feel like that also helps push the story forward of like she stayed too long, she's different, this is why.
Yeah, and I think by them showing us what Mia sees, it's implied that everyone else who does this, they see something.
Mm-hmm.
And they're setting the rules. And the fact that they don't have to show us all of the other ones, I really appreciate it as well.
I appreciated that too.
Yeah, because it moves us along. And so everyone's tripping out, everyone's laughing at her, and she's freaking out. And they convince her to keep going. And she grabs onto the hand, says, talk to me. And she resists that urge to let go. And then she goes, let me in.
I let
and
you
now
in.
she's possessed.
Yeah, I let you in.
Yeah, whatever the line is. And so what'd you guys think of her as the possessed one?
I think that, and I wanted to say this earlier, the actress does such an amazing job just with her facial expressions that you don't really have to, like, when we see her in the beginning, you can already, like just the way that she moves her face and the way that she's able to express herself just with her face alone, she did, like, an amazing job. But then also her taking the character that she wrote, that she was before, and then being the possessed, she separates them so much that you genuinely, like, you know, like, anytime that she's not, you can tell later throughout the movie that she's not being herself simply by the way that she's acting.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Her facial expressions and that voice she uses too.
That was a creepy fucking voice. Yeah. I think the bit that creeped me out the most is when she focuses her attention on Riley.
Right. He's behind you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And not being able to see what she's seeing adds to the creep factor greatly.
And his expression.
Yeah, he's scared shitless.
He doesn't want to be scared. He's trying to be tough. He's not sure if this is real or fake still. And his expressions are the ones that sell it.
Well, this was another foreshadow in the fact that they're basically saying right there and then they want Riley.
Yep.
Do you know why they picked him?
Because he was the youngest?
Yeah,
He's the youngest. He's most innocent. He hasn't done drugs, hasn't had sex. He is the perfect virgin sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was kind of right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So time limit's up. She's got to let go of the hand.
But she's not.
They're not. Yeah. So it takes like two of them to separate it. But the takeaway here is she was on for longer than 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I think works really well with these possessions is that swing of the camera as the person falls down into it.
Yes.
Each time they did that, it's like, oh, geez.
Yeah. Yeah. Great camera work here.
This movie has some really, really nice camera work.
For sure.
There are a lot of clues in this movie to Mia is seriously fucked up.
as soon as she comes back and, like you said, it's a drug, as soon as she wants more and more and more, I knew this was not going to end well for her.
Well, she was also just like, and I feel like because they started that from the beginning, she's like the perfect like vessel for them to use because she has, they have a way to manipulate her. Her mom died. They can say that they're her mom, and she'll believe them. And she just like, it's kind of cliche to have the mom dead because that's like literally every horror movie ever. But this one, it works so well and it pushes that story so much that it, from the beginning, well, because then also the mom dying of an accidental overdose, like it shows that she has like a history of mental health, that she like mentally is not strong enough to like fight off the spirits.
Yeah, it's almost like a Disney movie. You have to kill at least one of the parents.
Whose fucking kid is she?
The other big thing is that Mia, you bring up a good point. Mia is also the most vulnerable of the group.
Yo, yeah. She's gone
dealing
through the
with-
most trauma.
Yeah, most trauma, most vulnerable. So she's the perfect target to go after Riley.
Agreed.
Which is interesting because, well, and then we also know that their relationship is so close that Riley's just going to trust her, which is another reason why she's such a good.
Well, I think she's also, when it comes to Riley, she's a bit of a pushover.
Kind of. Because she didn't have a brother. And so after the gig, they go back to Jade's house, and Riley's all kinds of freaked out, and he wants to sleep in his big sister's room. And she's like, no, dude, you wanted to go, blah, blah, blah. You can't do this anymore. You're not 9. So he lands up hanging out with Mia. And again, they're building that trust and that kind of brother-sister relationship because she doesn't have any siblings. And, you know, Riley is...
He wants to know, what did it feel like? And I'm glad that that question was asked because we didn't necessarily get to see a lot of, you know, what she was experiencing in her head, right? And so for Riley to ask that question, now we get to hear a little bit of what she was experiencing.
And that's one of those instances where they're telling, not showing, but we're getting the information. So that was well done on their part.
I really liked Riley.
Good character.
Well, not even just the character. I like the actor. I feel like he did a really good job of like, I feel like that was like Mia and Riley the entire time. You can just watch their face and you know what they're thinking or you know what they're feeling. So they were just like really good actors.
Yeah.
And then he asks, how did your mom die? And then she tells us, the audience, that mother took sleeping pills. And then that she was scratching on the door and there was wood underneath her nails. And so for us to continue to hear those scratches to let us know that mother is close by.
Right.
Which also brings up another point. The directors have said 2 things to really focus on in this movie. One of them is Mia's fingernails and the fact that she scratches at them and that the colors of her nails subtly change throughout the movie to show the different temperaments, the different emotions that she's feeling. And so the fact that you bring up the mother scratching at the door kind of, I think, goes along with her fingernails as well.
Oh, the movie's so fucking dark. I couldn't see the fingernails even if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's just because you had the lights on.
Thanks.
If you watched it in the theater, you'd be able to see it.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
And then the first hint that something is off is Riley has fallen asleep and Mia, she reaches over and she takes his phone and then she touches his cheek a little bit and then the hand comes back and it's not Mia's hand.
Right. It's like disfigured or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Good scare. Good scare. Excited by the experience, Mia joins Haley, Joss, and Jade's boyfriend Daniel at Jade's house the next night, where they all take turns being possessed, except for Riley and his friend James. When Jade leaves the room, Riley convinces Mia to let him try for 50 seconds. Riley becomes possessed by the spirit of Mia's mother, Rhea, who tries to reconcile with Mia. Wanting to keep talking to her mother, Mia prevents the group from stopping the possession in time. The spirit then takes control of Riley, causing him to violently attempt suicide. He is left hospitalized in critical condition. Mia, now tormented by visions of her deceased mother Rhea, is blamed for Riley's injuries and ostracized by Jade and her mother Sue. After secretly taking the embalmed hand, Mia invites Daniel to stay at her house. While sharing a bed, Mia sees a spirit sucking on Daniel's feet. But when Daniel wakes up, he sees Mia is in a trance doing it. He leaves disturbed. Mia then uses the hand to contact Rhea, who claims her death was accidental and urges Mia to help Riley, who remains possessed and suicidal. Mia begins losing touch with reality, seeing her mother even without using the hand.
I just like to point out, I feel like it's weird that they never touch on it, but I think about it, I like noticed it every single time that we watch this movie. There's a really weird energy between Haley and Jade. There's like a really, not like it's almost like flirty. The way that they talk to each other, it's like they flirt with each other the entire time, which I think helped push the story because there's no way Jade would let them do that in her house. But Haley has a way of like
convincing her or winning her over type of thing.
Exactly. And I think that also helps push the narrative of like the relationship between not Haley, Jade and Daniel, because the whole thing is that Daniel doesn't actually like Jade.
Right. Well, that's coming up. But Mia has to get back on that drug. And so it turns out that Jade's boyfriend Daniel wants to give it a shot as well. Right?
So what'd you think of this?
Oh, Daniel's possession?
Yeah.
It threw me for a loop a little bit. But what I like about this possession is when he grabs the hand for the first time and says, "Talk to me," we're looking at the reaction through a phone, and he's off in the foreground a little bit, but the focus is the phone.
Yeah.
So we see what the phone is seeing. And the actor does a great job of selling whatever it is he sees. And he gets possessed. And I noticed that as soon as they say, "Let me in," or "I let you in," whatever the term is, they almost like suffocate.
I always figured that that's the spirit trying to remember what it's like to be alive, to be able to breathe, to be able to do everything. So, because, obviously you probably don't do that as a dead person.
That's an interesting thought. I didn't even think about it like that.
Maybe that, they're getting used to breathing again and all of that.
What did you guys think of Daniel's possession and the whole dog licking thing?
I felt bad for him that they all filmed it.
Oh, I know. But again, that's the day and age, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because like that's like that's like with the Daniel having to staying over at Mia's house later when they're in the hospital. That whole thing, he starts talking about how Daniel doesn't really love Jade. He doesn't really want to be with Jade. He wants to be with Mia. He like, it's interesting because there was that overarching, are these two actually meant to be together versus the other two, which adds like a strain on Jade and Mia's friendship.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about before the party got started. We have the mom, Sue. She is so much fun, and so you're sneaking out. That's,
that back and
have
forth
a good time.
Yeah.
Right. And then this time around, she's giving the third degree. As soon as Daniel shows up, it's like, is there a party tonight?
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
And then she goes and talks to Riley.
Yeah. What
and,
time's the party at? Don't worry, I already know about it.
She was such a great horror movie mom.
Mm-hmm.
She clearly divorced, raising these kids on her own, another trope of horror movies, the single mom. And she doesn't hold words with them. She's honest up front, and she just tells it like it is. She knows that they're going to sneak out or go to a party, whatever. Why not just be honest about it? And Jay's like, no, there's no party. But there is.
So before Daniel gets before Daniel gets his first possession, we do get to hear a little bit about what Joss and Haley know about the hand.
True. A little bit of a backstory.
Just a little bit.
And just enough for us to know that, well, you probably shouldn't be fucking around with this hand.
But we also want it to be mysterious too, because the less we know about it, the more intimidating it's going to be for us, the audience, because the fear of the unknown.
Absolutely. And the less we know about it, the scarier it is, I think.
This is also, for me, another horror trope in that you slowly got to be spoon-fed the background of whatever it is, the demonic item. So like, they kind of throughout the movie give us a little bit more and a little bit more. And then when we finally get to Cole, we get even more background on it, on the story, on what it does. And he gives us kind of the rule, additional rules to it.
So before he fell to the floor, Daniel, he looks significantly darker.
Mm-hmm.
And the physical features.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself at that point, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, I think it's interesting because that's the first time we see a person with like a lighter skin tone try it because then it's more prominent. But it happens to Mia the first time she does it. Her eyes get wider, her mouth gets darker and purple, but it's less noticeable because she has darker skin. But she's progressively turning more into that throughout the movie.
Right.
After seeing, because you talk about, fuck no, don't do this shit. After seeing what happens with Daniel, why did any of them even agree to do it after that?
For the high, I guess. And this kind of,
It leads us into a montage.
and yeah, that's exactly where I'm going with it. This montage, for me, I was so annoyed with it because you're fucking around with spirits that you shouldn't be fucking around with.
They filmed
No good can come of this fucking party.
They filmed the whole montage in 1 hour.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, what are they doing? The kids are possessed. It's like kids are doing coke for the first time and people are watching it.
It's almost like a carnival-like atmosphere.
Very much so. It's like they were having too good of a time.
Well, and then that's why they chose the song by Edith Piaf, which is like the carnival song. If it's in any movie, it's usually used at a carnival.
Well, look at that. See, I had no idea who the fuck that was,
You
although
know
it
who
was a
Edith-
catchy beat.
You do know who Edith Piaf is.
Oh, do I?
She sings Le'Veon Rose.
What the fuck is
No,
Le'Veon Rose?
Don't even you know that song. You just
Okay.
don't know it's the like most common French song ever played ever.
Right. What'd you guys think of the whole bit?
I thought that it was great showing the debauchery that they have in starting to abuse this hand. And it's curious that, these kids are willing to do that. But, in a way, I understand why they are doing that. It's the thrill of, it's scary, but it's a safe kind of scary. A little bit like the way a horror movie is a safe kind of scary. It's not real. You go on a roller coaster. When you go on a roller coaster, it's scary, but you're safe. And so these kids are under the illusion that it's not that bad. And they're just going batshit crazy now. And yeah, it's really stupid.
Yeah.
FOMO.
I almost wish, part of me wishes we got to see more of each of the possessions.
I knew you were
Especially-
going to fucking say that.
Especially when Mia sings. I liked Mia singing in that French voice or whatever it was.
Do you not have an imagination?
But it would have been a 3-hour movie if they had shown us each one. So again, I also appreciated that we got through them all fast to see that everybody has tried it. Although, did we ever see James try it?
I never saw Jade.
No, Jade
doesn't
doesn't do it. She doesn't believe in it from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
She
what I
thinks it's
thought.
bullshit, but then she sees what happens, and I think she's more scared than anything.
Mhm.
Well, I was gonna say, I think one of the reasons it works like so well, and like as you say, it's stupid. Why are they messing around with spirits? But it's FOMO. If everyone else if everyone else is doing it, you gotta try it because everyone else is doing it. You don't want to seem like a loser. And everybody made Jade feel like she was a loser for not trying the hand. They were like, "Oh, you're no fun," or blah 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 blah. Like they were saying that to her.
Yeah, well, guess who's not seeing fucked up spirits or bashing her head against the fucking wall?
But do you know why each of them had to do it?
Because they're stupid fucking kids?
Come on, conform. Be an individual.
I'm going to pull a page out of Don's book because it was in the fucking script.
So the montage ends,
And James, he wants a shot at it.
and they're like, who the fuck is this kid?
Jade's like, no way. He's too young.
Yep.
He's too young.
And then Riley wants to do it, and Jade's like, fuck no. Right?
They get in their little argument, tearing each other down.
Yeah. Why is my big sister protecting me? You're making me look bad, blah, blah, blah. So Jade leaves the room and
Riley's begging.
yeah,
Begging.
he wants to be part of this. He wants to fit in, right?
And Mia just can't say no. So she talks him down to, we think, 50 seconds.
Yeah. And Mia's like, oh, come on. Just let him fucking try.
Well, it's interesting because it's also the dynamic of like a younger sibling of like if when Logan and Keenan had their friends over, like I wanted to know what they were doing. I wanted to hang out with them. Like he really wants to be part of it too, especially because like he thinks of Mia as like a sister. Like I feel like that's another reason that it pushes him to even do it is like he really just wants to be part of their party.
Growing up, my brother was a senior when I was a freshman. And he had these friends who used to come over all the time, play cards and drink whenever my parents were out. And I always wanted to be part of the group. So I'd always somehow worm my way in to playing cards with them. But then they always would make me drink. And yeah, I know exactly where Riley was coming from.
Oh, well, so do I. I had 2 older brothers, and I mean, we could do this all day. But the fact that what happens next, I did not see coming.
It freaks you out.
It really fucking does. Okay. So, with the best of intentions, they're going to let Riley do this. He says, talk to me. He lets it in. And
He doesn't freak out.
He's
so calm.
it's a different experience than what we've seen up to date. So now I'm thinking, oh, is this like Casper the Friendly Ghost? And then I immediately thought, oh, no way. He's talking to fucking Mia's mom.
He
Right.
said that too.
Did
He goes,
you
that's
think-
Mia's mom.
Did you think at any time it was really Mia's mom?
I never once thought it was Mia's mom.
I thought it was just a way to lure everybody in, especially lure Mia in, so that they could hold on for more than 90 seconds.
Oh, it was,
So
it
they
was,
can really embed themselves.
no, it was definitely not ever Mia's mom. I don't think. I think it was the spirits manipulating Mia, who had already been in,
Yeah.
and knowing that she's traumatized and she's vulnerable. It was an easy target.
We also get at this point another clue, another rule, which is that we hadn't heard before, which is once they're inside you, they know everything you know.
Right.
And they can also imitate other people.
Right. And so they go along and what's his name? Riley is saying something sweet. And then he looks at Mia and calls her me
Mm-hmm.
or my, whatever
Me.
her
Me.
me. And that's when Mia's like, oh, fuck, that's my mom. And then, and at that same time, Haley's like, 50 seconds. We got to.
And she begs to keep talking to her mom.
And I thought, oh, fuck.
I personally thought that was really stupid, that it was the nickname that was like, oh, that's my mom because she knows my nickname. Your name is Mia. You took one letter off. I could have guessed that that was your nickname.
Yeah, but were you her dead mother?
Maybe.
And so Riley's still possessed and they're trying to get the hand away from him. But before,
He's stuck on a word. He keeps saying "got."
yeah, over and over and over and over and over again. And then
Damn it! He slams his head on the table.
I fucking felt it. That was some great sound design, great effect.
There's not that much blood before that moment.
What do you think of the practical of him trying to pull his eye out?
Oh my God, it was so good.
Because they originally tried that digitally as a visual effect, and they said, no, we got to go practical with this.
Yeah, no, I think that the practicals were great. And this bit where he starts banging his head on the fucking wall and the table and all that, so fucking disturbing.
Well,
Totally.
did we-
Totally.
And so he's doing this. Everyone's fucking freaking out. And Jade comes back in and she's like, what the fuck is going on here? And the bit I like, talk about fucking sisterly love. Riley puts his head back for one big last fucking hit, right?
Well, before that, the chair slides over to the window. He breaks the window. I thought he was going to go out the window.
Oh, yeah.
But then he gets himself over to the other table and he's going to, okay, here, I can bash my head here.
I thought he was going to use the glass from the window.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one too. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're fucking around with these spirits. You're getting possessed, which is another form of getting high. And then all of a sudden these doors and tables and shit starts moving. Red flag. What the fuck are you doing? Right? So anyways,
I was just gonna say the rest of this movie is not that like besides like the makeup on the guys, the little spirits, it's not that gory.
oh, this movie isn't gory at all.
But him smashing his head,
Disturbing.
it's disturbing, and that's where gore works.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't use it too much to the point that when it starts happening, it makes you want to vomit.
This film, this scene was so disturbing, especially for the actor playing Riley, that after each take, they had to take a long break and let him decompress just before he could go back in and try to film this again.
Yeah, fucking crazy. And so he revs himself up to give him one last smack of the head, but his sister jumps in and he hits her hand, virtually breaking it probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to them at the hospital. Jade, Sue, and Riley are at the hospital. Mia's at home. Her dad's trying to talk to her, but she's not hearing it. So she calls for a ride. She goes to the hospital. And this is where Sue and Jade are like, fuck off, go home.
Well, she also sees her mom in a reflection.
Which we knew was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't really her mom.
No, but it's showing that likely she still has something within her.
Oh, yeah.
She's
I
still
mean,
possessed. She's still fucked up from what happened to her.
oh, agreed.
So Mia, she goes home and Dad's there, and Dad, he wants to know what happened, and she's like, I don't know. But she comes back with, tell me about, what are you not telling me about Mom?
Right. That there's something she knows that he knows that he's not telling her.
Right.
Yeah, because the mom said to her when was possessing Riley, I didn't want to leave you. I basically was forced to leave you, but I didn't want to leave you. So that's why she's now questioning, did Dad do something to Mom?
Yeah. Yep.
And it's revealed that Mia, she has the hand in her backpack.
Why the fuck would you take the hand?
I do. Oh, I know
Because
why.
she wants to talk to
She
her
wants
mom.
to talk to her mom. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. I also thought that when it all went down, everyone was scrambling. She was the one to grab the hand and hide it
Oh, maybe.
because they didn't want the police to get it.
Maybe. Hey, Elise, when
Hey, Dad.
when I die,
No.
do not try and conjure me up to talk to me through a fucking ceramic can, okay?
Well, you're never gonna die. So.
I've told Julie I'm going to haunt her.
Well, that's different. You're not possessing her, you're haunting her. There's a difference.
Yeah, I'm just going to watch.
Weird.
So Daniel, he gives Mia a ride home, and he says that, he finds out that Mia, she's scared to be alone. And we see Sue sitting in the car, and Jay gets in the car, and she tries to hold her mom's hand. Her mom's like, nope.
Nope, not having it. And then we're in Mia's room, and her and Daniel are going to go to sleep.
I like that overhead shot.
Yeah. And this scene probably freaked me out more than any scene, or was one of the creepiest scenes to me. And I called it out. I saw it coming a mile away. As soon as the camera pans to like the door and you see that little corner area,
Yep.
I knew there was a fucking figure in there, but they did such a good job of hiding it until the figure actually fucking moves.
Yeah, because when I'm looking at that corner, it's like, is that somebody?
Yeah. Yeah. And then when it moves, it's so subtle. Like, did I just see that move? And sure shit, you
She
did.
comes crawling towards her.
And so this figure is moving toward the bed. And this is where it just gets fucking weird, right? The figure starts sucking on Daniel's toes.
What's weird about that?
And so Mia's watching, I guess.
And she's mortified.
She's trying to wake Daniel up.
It reminded me a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street,
Mhm.
going into a dream.
One of my first thought was, oh God, are they going to make her be sucking the foot?
And sure as shit, they were. And so that is the beginning of something that also happens later on. And it's telling us and showing us that Mia's starting to lose her sense of reality a little bit.
Yep.
Did you notice
The spirit is really getting stronger and trying to take over.
when Daniel looks at her sucking his foot, her eyes were all white, I believe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so right there, we know, like you're saying, she's fucking possessed.
And he leaves in a huff. He didn't like his foot being sucked on.
Yeah, he's not into that shit.
Well, maybe it's because she was a fucking demon.
Well, it's an ex-girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend should not suck your feet.
It's
I've learned
not
that.
his ex-girlfriend.
They held hands in the third grade. Yes, it is.
They talked that they
Do you know how many
dated.
girlfriends I had in the third grade? You know what? That's a different podcast for a different time.
When Mia starts slapping herself, she's slapping herself harder and harder. It's like, shit, she's going to get the hand out. And sure enough,
She gets the hand out because she wants to talk to mom.
I really thought she was going to do it alone. And I kept thinking, who the fuck is going to stop it?
And who's going to light the can? Who's going to blow the candle out and
That's
take the hand out?
that's exactly
Yeah.
what I thought. She's
Yeah.
going to be there a lot longer than 90 seconds, and
Right.
nobody's there to close the door.
Right.
And so, yeah, this is a train wreck.
The friends find Cole, who explains that a living body will eventually expel evading spirits, but Mia fears Riley may not survive that long. Mia tries to contact Riley in the hospital using the hand and sees a vision of him being tortured by spirits. At home, Mia's father, Max, reveals that Ria's death was a suicide and reads her note. Ria's spirit claims Max is lying, lending Mia to hallucinate and stab Max in confusion. Ria then convinces Mia that Riley must die to free him from possession. Mia kidnaps Riley and pushes him towards the highway, but instead of killing him, Mia jumps into traffic herself, dying. Mia finds herself in a hospital watching a fully recovered Riley and Jade and Sue while Max leaves in an elevator. No one responds to her, and she notices she has no reflection and her hands are disfigured. As darkness surrounds her, she sees a hand over a candle in the distance. Grabbing it, Mia is suddenly summoned to a party in Greece, where a partygoer holding her hand says, "I let you in," revealing that she has become one of the spirits summoned by the embalmed hand.
You know,
Roll credits.
you know what I was gonna say? I think one of the main reasons that we can think that it's really not Mia's mom is the fact that Mia dies at the fate of the hand, and it puts her in the hand. So I assume, which like it might be wrong, but my guess is that the way that you can be contacted is you have to be like killed through the hand. Like, I don't think it's any spirit. I think it's this hand possessed you. It made you kill yourself. Now it has control over you.
Well, I think going along with that idea, I think what it is she died while she was still possessed. So technically, they own her.
Mm-hmm.
So now she is one of the spirits in that group that can be accessed via the hand. The hand only seems to contact spirits in hell.
I never thought it was his mother for
Yeah.
1 second.
I don't think so either.
I thought it was the mother when she is trying to convince Mia that she needs to kill Riley, and Dad is looking through the backpack and there's banging at the door.
I figure that any spirit that would try to get you to kill someone else probably isn't the spirit you want to be talking to, but that's just me.
I saw right through that, because one of the first rules we got is if you die while possessed, they own you. So the fact that the mother was saying you have to kill him to release him, well, if she kills him, he's trapped with them forever. So right there, I thought, she's lying to him. She can't be the real mom.
And so Riley kind of comes to for a second, and he tries to kill himself again.
Right. So here's Mother, and we get our first reveal of how fucked up Riley looks. He looks bad. And so Mother, she leaves the room to take a phone call. And so Jade, she's there by herself with Riley, and all of a sudden Riley comes to, and man, he goes to town on himself again.
And not in a good way.
And bites the hand.
Who bites the hand?
Riley bites.
Oh,
Bites
Riley
hand.
bites whose hand? Oh,
But he bites the hand that he had already disfigured.
And then, he takes it just a little bit further by licking up his own blood.
nice little touch at the end there.
Maybe he was iron deficient.
Just a little bit of a creep factor in it. Iron deficient. You're iron deficient. And so now the gang is like, what the fuck are we going to do? And so, like any good horror movie trope, the friends have to find the solution, have to try and fix the problem.
Usually they have to go back to someone from the past who's dealt with the same situation.
And so they find Cole, whose brother was Duckett, who had killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And we are told from Cole that eventually the spirit will leave. But it depends on how long you held the hand for.
Yeah,
Or how much control the spirit has.
Yeah, over time, the spirit grows weaker and weaker to the point where it can no longer inhabit the body.
Well, and then he was also like, you let a kid do it? And was really, really upset that it was like, you let a little kid do it.
We basically, with Cole, we finally kind of have the piece of the puzzle of what that whole opening sequence was all about. Was that obviously Duckett was possessed too long. He was seeing spirits. The spirits made, him stab his brother, thinking that maybe his brother was a spirit, and then killing himself, similar to what happens in the end of the movie with Mia.
And then Mia, she asks everybody if they've been seeing stuff, and nobody else has. So it's like, oh shit.
Because we know that Mia is 100% grade A fucked.
And Haley says, wait a second. Didn't Duckett say that they could imitate people? And it's just like, oh, this is where the mother bit comes in.
Right. So they start to think maybe it wasn't her fucking mom. Right.
Yeah, but of course, Mia is not buying that.
And then we hear from Joss that he got the hand from Duckett, and he was seeing them without using the hand as well.
Right.
And so with that, he ends up tying in what we saw at the beginning of the movie.
So Mia thinks that I can save Riley. Maybe we didn't blow the candle out before he got possessed, whatever. So she goes in and with the hand, and I like when she pulls the hand out, Jade's like, what? You have that fucking thing? What the fuck are you doing? But it turns out that didn't work. But what Mia does see is what's happening to Riley.
Well, first of all, she sees that little girl who looks normal. It's the first ghost spirit thing that isn't actually all mutated and swollen and cut up and all that. It's just this little girl. So you don't know, is this a good spirit? Is this a bad spirit? I thought maybe the hospital might be full of dead spirits.
No, I did not think that for once. I didn't think there was one good spirit amongst them.
Or do you think maybe it was one of the evil spirits pretending, imitating?
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what it was.
And I like how the spirit says to her,
I let you in.
Yeah.
And I actually, during this scene, because originally this scene was supposed to be over 2 to 3 minutes long, a long sequence, but they found it just too disturbing and they didn't think to get past the censors. So that's why we just get all those little quick clips. But there was something, like, it looked like hell. It was a nasty whole scene. But if you pause it, which I did a few times.
Of course you did.
And I even took some pictures with my phone.
Of course you did.
All of that took place in that hospital room. Because there were several scenes where the spirits were crawling out from underneath the bed, were standing next to the bed. So all of that wasn't in hell. It was in that room.
Or that was hell.
Maybe.
And so she comes out of it on the other side and she says, they're hurting him, Jade, and they're never going to stop, and they're just never going to stop.
Right.
And so with that, now we have a conundrum. How are they going to solve this?
Right. How does this end?
But Cole already gave us the answer, which is just keep them tied up. Eventually, they're going to be forced out.
Right. But Mia's not thinking about that
Yeah.
because she's consumed with her mom.
Yeah, and she's not thinking straight anymore.
Well,
Right.
I mean, we see it in the end.
And so now Mia's at home and
Dad says, I haven't been completely honest with you.
he reads the suicide note, which was fucking heartbreaking because Mia had this idea in her head that was in an accidental overdose and that her mom didn't kill herself.
I think she's also starting to form an idea in her head that maybe her dad was involved with the mom's death.
I think, yeah, that's the evil spirits implanting that in
Yep.
her head. For sure.
Mhm.
For sure. And the dad reads the note and we find out that it was suicide and it's heartbreaking. And then Mia starts to have,
Well, she starts saying
Visions.
she didn't do it. She didn't do it. She told me.
Yeah, mom told me she didn't do it.
right. And so,
She goes back to her bedroom and sees her mom again.
and this is where it kind of gets weird as well, because there's someone trying to get into the room and it's her dad, but we also cut to dad on the couch. So we're not really sure if it's dad or not
Right.
until the whole toe sucking thing comes back around. And as Mia is stabbing the ghost dad with the scissors,
Max, the real dad.
breaks open the door.
Saw this coming a mile away.
Yeah. And he falls or he goes down to check on Mia and Mia's still kind of,
Trance-like.
yep. And she turns and she mistakenly stabs her Max in the throat. I thought he was dead.
So did I.
I thought he was dead for sure. And then I'm thinking, oh, this poor gal, mom and dad are dead. But as it turns out, I don't think dad dies.
Which the crazy thing, again, showing how fucked up Mia is she, she had the conversation with the mom about what I need to do. She stabs Max, and then she gets Jade to go, come find her while she goes to the hospital.
It was a total ruse.
She never called 911 for her father who's bleeding out in the bedroom.
What I don't get.
Well, she's not in her right state of mind.
Yeah, she just gets up and goes.
She also thought that he was attacking her.
Yeah. Yes, because that's
She
what
doesn't know
the.
so she doesn't know completely if it's the ghost dad or if it's her real dad.
Okay. Hey, you play dumb games,
You're in dumb person.
and this was a dumb game that all these kids played.
And
So,
and all during this crisis, you have mothers saying about Riley, he needs to die.
right.
He needs to die.
And this is building up toward the end, right?
You're
And
never
we're
g-
thinking, fuck, is really the only way for this to stop is to kill this kid?
Immediately, I think we revisit the kangaroo idea. Is she basically gets in her head, I have to put Riley out of his misery.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where the kangaroo comes back.
So this is where she's going to drive over his head, basically, when she gets the idea to throw him into traffic.
And so, like you were saying, she lures Jade away. She kidnaps Riley. She wheels him down to the edge of the freeway.
I like the bit right before that, which is we have Mia mustering the courage. We see the scissors in her back pocket, and then Sue shows up and she starts talking and she apologizes because what she was thinking, she was just upset.
Right.
And she tells Mia that she's family.
Yeah.
And we hear that Riley is doing better, that he was conscious but wasn't.
Trying to kill himself.
Yeah, he was conscious and like being normal again.
Right.
It's
But
like a good sign.
but Mia won't accept that because mom says, kill this fucking kid.
Mm-hmm.
Kill.
Because mom will protect her.
So she asks to have a moment alone with him.
And this is where she kidnaps him.
And we cut to Jade. She's back at the house. And, Riley is now all of a sudden, he's an undead person. He doesn't look like Riley anymore. He looks like one of these undead people. And then we're back to Jade at the house again. And this is where we get Mia saying, I am ending this. You can't take him. He's ours. Where is he? You saw. And it switches back to Riley. And then we see the kangaroo. And then she gets a phone call. Sue gets a phone call, and Mia, she's like, he's dangerous. She's just found Dad.
Yeah, I was going to say, she found Dad, and he's sitting in the corner, and he's sitting up.
Yeah.
Which I thought that fucker was dead. But no.
So
Apparently he was able to stop the bleeding.
I bet you Jade called 911.
I bet you she did.
So Sue, she runs back to the room, and the room is empty.
He gone.
So Jade shows up in the parking lot, and she spots Mia pushing Riley in a wheelchair, and she goes running after him.
And so this is our climactic build toward the end.
Yep. What's going to happen? How's this going to play out?
I figured one of two things were going to happen. She was going to pitch Riley over the fucking edge, and Riley was going to get killed, and it was going to be a downer ending. Or she was going to get knocked over and sacrifice herself, and it was going to be a downer ending.
I really thought, and it could have happened because it's such a vague ending, I really thought Jade was going to come down and push Maya out of the way into the traffic.
I 100% believe that that's what happened.
I think that she was saving Riley, and in the midst of it all, pushes Mia into the traffic. I don't think she deliberately kills Mia. I think she's saving her brother, and in the midst of the commotion, and when she grabs him in the way, because the wheelchair's knocked over too. So it's like they were tackled. But what we get is Mia falling into the traffic and then her getting up, and we're led to believe that she's okay.
And then we see Jade. We see Jade holding Riley like
Right.
coddling him like a baby.
Right.
My theory, besides the idea of possibly that Jade pushed her, was she decided, because she said something about the mother over her shoulder said, do it, I'll protect him. We'll have him forever.
As soon as she says that, I think that triggers Mia into thinking, oh shit, this is not my mom.
And so my thought was, she backs up. She's not going to do it now. The spirits realize that, and the spirits forced her into the traffic so that they would have her forever.
So I think that the reason for the kangaroo is to show that Mia does not have it in her heart to kill. And she chose not to put Riley into harm's way, and she sacrificed herself to make the cycle stop.
Maybe. And so Mia falls to the ground. She gets up. We think she's okay. I like the practicals on this too. She looked like she had road rash.
I never thought she was okay unless the car missed her. I figured she'd be dead.
Yeah, well, that was coming because the next thing we get
All of a sudden, we're back in the hospital. She turns and she's in the hospital. All right, she's dead.
And so we then see a candle and a hand come over the...
Yeah, we see two hands coming together.
And that's when I immediately went, oh, fuck, she's dead, right? And she's on the other side of it. And it was a nice little twist that now we're in Greece and the guy who's doing it is skeptical to say, I let you in, but he says it. There's a deep breath, and then we cut to black.
And if they were going to make a second one, that would be a cool premise.
What'd you guys think of the whole ending bit?
It was a good ending to have her be on the other end of the hand. But I was curious about, she doesn't look necessarily all that trashy, right? She looks scuffed up, whereas what Mia sees are morbidly gross looking people.
Mm-hmm.
I got the feeling that all the people she sees is how they died. Like there's one person that looks all burned up. There's another person who gurgles and stuff like they may have drowned. There's another, just all of them I think kind of represent. Plus these people have been in whatever hell they've been in, burning up and mutating and whatever. She just died in a accident. So she's got the glass in her face and a little bit of, as you mentioned, road rash, things like that. So she hasn't quite become them yet.
The first ghost that we see also looks incredibly similar to like a plague victim because they have like the boils on the face and the rotten teeth.
Yeah. So I think it's how you die and maybe the length of time.
So I wonder what would have happened to Mia if she had thrown Riley into the traffic, if she would have taken her own life after that.
Who knows?
I was curious about that.
I think it would eventually hit her that she just doomed Riley to eternal suffering. And yes, I think she would have killed herself.
Probably, because if not, she was going to jail for attempted murder against her dad.
And Riley. Killing Riley.
Well, no, not attempted murder. Murder for Riley and attempted murder for her dad. Yeah, she'd be going to death row.
Yeah, and so with that, because it takes me back to the beginning of the movie when we have Duckett, stabbing himself in the face.
Right. And that was Talk to Me.
I got to ask a question. Of all the scenes in the movie, what was the most fucked up scene in this movie?
I think when he starts banging his head against the fucking counter, he starts trying to kill himself. That, or when the figure gets up and walks to the corner. You?
Yes, sir.
Watching Riley and then the cold open, well, not the cold open, but the Duckett stabbing himself in the face.
It was fucked up, yeah. What about you?
The one that really startled me and made me say, oh, fuck, was Duckett stabbing himself in the eye in the beginning. But the most visually graphic one was Riley beating the shit out of himself after being possessed.
Yeah. What about you?
It was the first time that we saw a ghost, or we see the spirits, and then the second time it was Riley.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because I kind of expected Riley to do it after. I was not shocked.
Welcome to a new segment we like to call
Face the wheel.
The premise is simple. I will spin the wheel in whatever category comes up. John and Don will apply it to the movie that we are reviewing. Once they have presented their idea to me, I will decide the winner of this week's wheel. So here are the categories: mashup, plot, rename, genre, reboot, alternate ending. I liked it better when it was called spin again, pick any, add any character from any movie. Want to spin it?
Yes.
Genre.
Do I get to play? Can I win?
Yeah.
You have to come up with a genre
You
story.
have to come up with a genre for it.
What do you mean? It's already in it.
It's a horror film.
Yes.
So
So I have to
change
change the
the genre.
Okay.
And then tell us what the
easy.
movie would be like.
Okay, go.
Dark comedy.
Okay.
And how
Elaborate.
would that look?
Yeah.
Elaborate. It'd be very similar, but the jokes, like the toes.
So
Would
she
be-
only gets possessed by dead comedians?
Hey, it's her fucking movie.
No, just because it's a dark comedy doesn't mean you have to change the entirety premise of the movie. It just, the jokes are more rapid because there are jokes in the movie, but like there'd be more, and there'd be like it would be a little bit more lighthearted. But I think you'd keep the horror the same. I feel like it would work really well as a dark comedy.
Dark comedy. Interesting. What do you got?
The genre I would actually pick is a musical.
Shocker. Didn't see that coming.
And every one of the spirits that possess the people is a musical person, is someone from the past who can sing. And so they would basically, just like that scene where Mia sings the French song, they'd all break into these ballads and everything, and it would just scare the shit out of people, that they would, like, you know, be the whole drug kick and everything, that you don't want this person to stick around because it just sings too fucking much.
Huh. Musical. All right. I'm going to turn mine into a war film, and the spirits that Mia is conversing with are spirits from all of the world wars we've ever had. And at the end, she is transported to World War III in the future, and she has to live with the knowledge of how the world ends.
Mr. Herman, can I win?
That's a curious twist.
Thank you, sir. I just made that up without AI.
I saw you fishing on your phone.
You didn't see jack shit.
All right, so we got war, we have musical, and we have dark comedy. You know,
Herman, let me win because I'm the coolest.
the point goes to
I bake cookies.
Elise.
Oh, for fuck. This is rigged.
It was the cookie thing.
No.
This is fucked.
No, dark comedy. Think of all the zany antics that would happen with each possession of the handhold.
Do you know what popped into my head? Shaun of the Dead.
Exactly.
Something like that.
I love Shaun of the Dead.
It kept the gore, but it was funny, right?
Mhm.
But you're right with the zany
I would change the
antics
gore.
of the hand possession. That's a good twist.
Right.
Not as good as mine, but it was a good twist.
No,
At
it's
any-
a good twist.
At any point in this movie, did you think the hand was going to move a little?
No, I didn't think they
I
were
thought
going to be
maybe
that.
she was going to have some weird, deranged hallucination that all of a sudden, like when the hand's holding her hand, it grips her hand.
Actually, I take that back. Remember when Haley was put the cigarette in between the fingers of the hand and she was smoking out of it? I thought that the hand was going to, what?
They were smoking.
Oh, they were smoking the cigarette out of it. I thought for sure the hand was going to move or do something because they were being pretty cavalier with that fucking hand.
Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here nor there.
And so there you have it, listeners. And that concludes this week's
Face the wheel.
All right, what do you guys think? You guys ready to rate this flick?
Yeah, I'm ready to rate this flick. How about you, Elise? Are you ready to rate this flick?
I'm ready to rate this flick. John, are you ready to rate this flick?
Okay, I'm ready to go. Just give me a sec for the room to stop spinning.
All right. Hey, Professor, how do we do our ratings?
We do our ratings on a scale of 1 to 5 fucks. 5 fucks is a movie that we get done watching it, and you know, it is cinematic gold. A 1 fuck movie is a movie where you get done watching it and you're thinking, I'm never watching that again.
And what's a 0?
A 0 fuck movie is where you get done watching it and you turn to your buddy and you say, oh, for shit's sake, what the hell? Why would you make me? I want 1 hour and 35 minutes of my life back.
Or in other words, we just don't give a fuck. Here at the Three Guys, it is tradition that we let our guests go first, but you have the option. You can either go first or you can go last. It's up to you, little one. What would you like to do?
I'll go first.
All right, fire away.
Me personally, I would give this movie 4.5 Fs because I really like it. I think it has really good rewatchability because, like, even though you know what's coming, I feel like there's a lot of like things that you miss the first time around. I also really like making Brian watch horror movies. Like, I don't want to watch this.
All right, 4.5 fucks from Elise. You want to go?
Sure, why not?
All right, fire away, beer guy.
The movie Talk to Me is first watch for me, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show. I am not a horror guy at heart, and in general, they are not something that I gravitate towards. I really enjoyed the camera work. There was some really snazzy camera work that I thought illuminated, you know, a sense of style to the movie. The fact that we only get to see the spirit world through the eyes of Mia, I really like that as well. Just having us observe what everybody else in the room is seeing when the other people are possessed, I think it is stronger storytelling. The characters I thought were pretty good. Jade, she's the only one that's really sensible. And Mia, boy, she just jumps right down that rabbit hole. And unfortunately for her, it ends up very, very poorly for her. I do think that there is a good sense of dread in this movie, and the slip that Mia has as she settles into more time in the spirit world made for some inconsistencies. You know, that night where she's curling up with her mother. Okay, so why doesn't that just like totally consume her? But obviously somehow she came out of it. I don't know how she got out of that. I was also struck by how in the world do they know about the 90-second rule? And what about, why does the movie end on the other side of the world? Is it a different hand? Is it the same hand? I don't know. I found that interesting, but also confusing. I don't think that it's probably all that important, because all we want is kind of sort of a good little gotcha ending to the movie. I think that for me, I'm giving this movie 1.5 fucks. I'm just never watching the movie again.
Wow, that seems really contradictory to everything you just said.
But what it really comes down to is I'm never watching the movie again.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
1.5 fucks from the professor. You or me?
Would you like me to go next?
You or me?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Before I give my rating, which I don't even remember what I gave it, what do you think I'm going to rate this?
I think you were going to give Talk to Me 3.75 fucks.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Okay, before I go, Elise, don't say it, but I just want to show you what's written down.
You said 3.75?
Yeah. And clearly I fucking nailed it by her fucking...
I just want to show we don't cheat here on Three Guys in a Flick.
I nailed it, didn't I? Yeah.
Talk to Me is a clever, thought-provoking movie that adds a twist to the possession-type horror trope. It's purposely vague in many parts to give the viewer an uneasy feeling and let them come to their own conclusions. My only issues are some parts felt obvious, and I wasn't ever feeling even a little scared throughout the movie. Although I did have several oh fuck moments. It was obvious early on, after Mia's possession, that she wasn't all right. I never trusted her mom, especially when it was revealed that they get into your head and know what you know. Sophie Wilde did a great job playing Mia. From what we got from Riley, I appreciated him as well. I also thought Miranda Otto, Jade and Riley's mom, stood out. Other than that, I wasn't hugely impressed with anyone else. The visual and practical effects were also very decent, and the hell scene was hella creepy. The spirit makeup was well done, and I appreciate that you get the idea for how each spirit must have died. Overall, I'm giving Talk to Me 3.75 fucks.
Bam! Fucking nailed it. 3.75 fucks from the comic book guy. I thought that Talk to Me had an original take on an old idea of possession. I like the fact that the filmmakers didn't show us too much. We got to see what Mia saw, but that was about it. The rest was told throughout facial expressions and tones and just some good acting. I know that a lot of today's horror movies are considered elevated horror, which I think is just asinine, because horror is horror and a good movie is a good movie. And what makes a good movie is a good story. And what made Talk to Me a good movie, in my opinion, was the story. So with that, I'm giving Talk to Me 3.75 fucks. With 1.5 fucks from the professor, 3.75 fucks from me and the comic book guy, that gives Talk to Me an average of 3 fucks, which now ties it in the 25th spot with Flash Gordon, The Untouchables, The Wolf of Wall Street, Love Actually, and The Running Man. It is slightly better than Willow, The Neverending Story, The Last Dragon, and Tommy Boy, and slightly worse than Catch Me If You Can, Far and Away, Bloodsport, and Starship Troopers. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Three Guys in a Flick. If you would like to know which movie we're going to be reviewing next, please check out the website. Speaking of which, hey John, where can they find us?
They can find us at www.threeguysinaflick.com, where we go ahead and post all of our podcasts, show notes, and anything else we feel like putting in there. We also have a form on there that you can submit a movie you would like to go in the Bronco helmet for us to review next. You can find us at all of social media and any place that hosts podcasts. And while you're listening to us, go ahead and give us a like, give us a rating. We would love to have you post a comment. It'd be great to hear from you.
All right. I just want to thank Elise for coming on to the show and talking about Talk to Me. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Good.
I want to do Bodies, Bodies, Bodies now.
Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Another horror film that
Well, it's not
Professor
really.
can't wait to review.
I'm sorry, Mr. Herman. I just love horror movies.
Daddy's little girl.
I also want to thank anyone who has listened and who has suggested a movie. If you keep listening, we'll keep recording. For Three Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
I'm John.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Elise. And I let you in.
Three guys with some mics, yeah, darting to the flicks. We're here for the real talk, no time for the tricks. Don as the captain, steering us right. Kid drops now to shedding light. John with the comics, bringing the hype. From the good, the bad, to the absurd. We break it down, make sure you heard. Passion for the screen, we ride or die about movies. You know we always give a fuck, no lie.
I think she sounds fine.
Okay.
That's just how I talk.
And she doesn't talk any faster than Katie. So,
Well, Katie just goes off on tangents.
what
Where
do you think that was?
From? Where do you think I learned it from? She was my babysitter.
But that was fascinating.
Thank you.
Nice cover.
If you give too much specificality,
Specific. Help me out here, Professor.
Specific-
Specificity?
specificity to like a specific horror,
Specific.
specifically. And no, he was that tall the last time I saw him.
Oh.
Yeah, he's always been tall, bud.
No.
Yeah.
No, when I met him, he was like that tall.
Well, I didn't know him when he was that
Well,
tall.
then again, that tall is tall to you.
Yeah, you can. You gonna let them talk to me like that?
I don't know if you care, but you said this is a tie between the comic book guy and John.
Isn't that the same person?
They're the same person.
Okay, just checking.
Okay.
I have not seen Fear Street.
Oh, they do some. They do.
Fuck. Yeah, I know. That doesn't make it good, or it doesn't make him fucking smart. Fucking.
Well, it's not about being smart. It's about being a teenager. Don't you remember being a teenager and all your friends were doing something and you didn't want to seem like a loser, so you did it too?
And your big brother? Well, this bitch wasn't her dead mother either.
That'd be like if somebody was like calling you Donnie.
Whoa. Let's not start calling names.
I think she'd still get off in the fact that she was saving her brother.
Wouldn't it count as self-defense?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. It's self-defense.
Boom, lawyer.
Most horror movies.
Brandy has a whole horror movie. You know, she stars in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it called her music career? Oh, whoa.
I don't know.
Sitting up in my room.
Can I just say?
And they never got back to it.
Can I just say? I love Katie. Love Katie.
Well, I love her too, but she's on a fucking
I'm
timeout.
not done talking. I love Dad, turn my mic back on. Do I have to say the F word?
No,
Okay, I don't want to.
you don't have to.
I don't like that word.
That's fine. Are you sure you're my kid?
Well, I just don't like saying it around my dad.
Yeah, you don't have to fucking say anything.
That's fair. Denise said sometimes that we go a little bit overboard. So Ken's like, fuck, finally, someone said it. All right. May all of your days and nights be filled with happiness. All right. Fuck off. Good night.
Guys in a